Salaki, give me 1 second. Let me connect my Wi-Fi to this piece of shit phone. All right, this is Jeremiah. Oh, Salaki. This is Jeremiah 6:16, and it says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein." I'd like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloyam La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, of great millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that's scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwath that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab Amawan back at you with another lesson. And the title of this lesson is called The Social Structure of Hebrews. All right. Western Civilization, Volume 1. All right, which I had mentioned one of my lessons that I had this book called Western Civilization. All right. Very interesting book. Talks about Hebrews, talks about the Israelites, talks about all the captivities that we were in. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, as I continue to read through it, whenever I come and stumble across certain things, I'll bring it out through the spirit and tie it in with scriptures, Lord willing. I'll be able to piece everything together the proper way. All right, but one of the first things I ran into was this is chapter 2. Okay, hold on, let me do this. Salakia. Let me change the camera. All right, so this is, there you go. This is chapter 2, the ancient Near East peoples and empires. Okay. And basically this goes into the Hebrew Israelites, even brings out King David, King Solomon, which it goes to show you that these devils know exactly who we are, because this is a college book. This is Ocean County College, which Ocean County College is around here. All right. And this is a book based on Western civilization, and they're telling you what about the Hebrew Israelites, man. They know who we are. All right. Now they do be using some bullshit in here, like they'll use the name of Yahweh. Okay. And Esau try to always sugarcoat shit. So there is some sugarcoating in here. All right, but those that have the wisdom are able to piece the things together. Okay, but like I said, I'm gonna start on this one because the other one that I have is a different for a different lesson. All right, but this goes into the social structure of the Hebrews. Okay, which I'm gonna let me turn this to the side. There you go. So it says, originally the Israelites had been organized along tribal lines, but a new social structure had evolved by the time of the monarchy as the Israelites settled in towns and villages. And the reason I brought out that scripture, all right, in the beginning, is because we're supposed to be seeking to walk in the ways of the old, man, the old paths, because the old paths are the ways that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai originally had given us. All right. You don't want to be walking in the ways of the society or the ways of these heathens. All right. The Lord gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to abide by. He gave us a manual to abide by. All right. In the society. Okay, so it says, continuing on, Salakia, it says, although historians warned that the Israelites did not develop social classes in the modern sense of self-conscious groups opposed to one another, they were conspicuous divisions of the population. Social patterns. It says the men of rank and influence formed a special group of considerable importance in Hebrew society. This group included officials of the king, military officers, and governors. Let me make sure I'm in the right. Yep, military officers, civil officials, and governors. Although simply servants to the kings, they had a privileged position in the society at large. The common people, sometimes called people of the land, remained a body of free people having basic civil rights. Their livelihood came mostly from the land and from various crafts. These peasants and artisans sold their own produce and products directly to buyers in markets in their local town and village squares, thus eliminating intermediaries or traders. There was no real merchant class in ancient Israel. Commerce was carried on by foreigners such as Phoenicians. Not until the diaspora, when Jews became scattered throughout the ancient world after their exile to Babylon, did they become merchants. You see, showing you that the Israelites, the true Israelites, were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, like the scriptures say. This is a history book telling you that they were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man. Proof. All right. Continuing on. Family, because this is what I really wanted. Marriage and women and family. All right, because there's a lot of things that it proves about how our marriages were and how our women were supposed to act. Okay. But continuing on, it says the family was the central social institution in Hebrew life and consisted of individuals connected by common blood and a common living place. A family, Salakia, a family living in one house could comprise husband and wife, married sons and their wives, and their children. The Hebrew family was patriarchal. It says the husband father was master of his wife and possessed absolute authority over his children, including the power of life and death. All right, showing you that the man was always the head. All right, like it tells you in Corinthians, the 11th chapter, 3rd verse. All right, it tells you the how everything is supposed to be subject is from Yahweh onto Yahushai onto man, and then it goes on to the woman and then the children. Okay, because you got in this society, they think that the woman is supposed to be in front of everything, man. They put it as the woman is the prize. All right, the woman is the provider. Okay, the woman is the stronghold in there. No, all right. Without the man, there is no structure. There is no family. All right, because everything is going to be done by the man. Okay. Then it goes into marriage and women. Marriage was an important aspect of Hebrew life. All right. Yeah, and see the family life. See, this is what brothers be talking about. See, in today's society, there is no family structure. See, because with family structure, that brings in that legacy. All right, of you being rulers. All right, being that royal priesthood above the rest of these nations. You see, but we have no family structure out here. Our family structure is destroyed. Is destroyed according to heathen Hellenistic customs. All right, heathen customs. All right, everything was destroyed once they started to bring women into power, which I'm gonna read in another chapter where it shows you the difference of how these women were once in a certain vibe, and then when the Hellenistic world came, it basically it was made to make women prosper in it. That's the reason why women are in the situations they are in today, where they have compassed past a man, because these devils are still following in those ancient heathen customs. This is how you know that this is the revival of the Greco-Roman Empire. You see? So it says, marriage was an important aspect of Hebrew family life. And yeah, like what I was saying, I forgot to bring this out too, that, you know, today's children, they're just so born, all of them are born in vain. None of them are born according to family structure. Everything nowadays is according to pleasure. All right, pleasure to the flesh. All right. Oh, I want to feel good, so I could do this and I can do that. I could run around with this man and run around with that man. No. All right, there's family structure that we were supposed to abide by. Women are supposed to be what? Keepers at home. Okay, keepers at home. They're supposed to be taking care of the children. All right, doing women duties, as in cooking food, making clothes. All right, planting gardens. This is what a woman is supposed to be doing. All right. So it says marriage was an important aspect of Hebrew family life in ancient Israel under the monarchy. Polygamy was an accepted form of marriage. All right. Showing you the old paths. The women today, you can't even mention another woman without these women getting uptight. And what's the scripture say? All right. That, you know, roughly paraphrasing it, that jealousy should not be in a woman's agenda, in her mind. Okay, but these women get jealous the moment you speak on another woman. Okay, and then it says, especially for kings and wealthier citizens, Hebrew law limited kings to 18 wives and citizens to 4. In practice, only kings could afford a large harem. When others had more than one wife, it was usually because they desired more children. The first wife, for example, might be unable to have children or have produced only daughters. You see, because again, sex got its pleasure. Okay, we have pleasure with it, but it's really to continue on legacy, like it's telling you right here, man. Okay. It was because the man desired to have more children. He wanted to continue that lineage. I remember, you got these devils that are always trying to take us out of the way. All right. The name of Israel being in remembrance. So they're trying to kill off your lineage. All right. But the Lord has made us what? To be fruitful and multiply. So we can continue that lineage, that great lineage that the Lord has chosen to be his people. Okay. And it says, many Hebrews, however, believe that monogamy was the preferred form of marriage. Wives were honored for their faithfulness and dedication to their husbands. The book of Proverbs in the Hebrew Bible provides a picture of what Hebrews considered a perfect wife, which we already know, Proverbs, all right, the 31st chapter, and that's pretty much what it's going to read. Okay. But at one point, you had others that also agreed that it was better to be monogamous, all right, to be just with one person, which I agree with in today's society, all right, because once that Hellenistic vibration came and women were put up on that pedestal, okay, that's when everything started to change. It's no room for us to have, you know, multiple wives. You can barely handle one wife now. So you want to handle extras. All right. That's why in Corinthians, the 7th chapter, all right, Paul was telling you it was better that we touch not a woman, to act as if we have no women, even if we have them. All right. If you don't have none, don't look for them. You see? Because that Hellenistic world changed the ways of our women. Okay. They're no longer in that mindset of being that royal priesthood, or knowing the ways of a true woman. Okay, they even see you attempt to grow a brain towards another woman. It's all hell. Okay, so it says, you know, it brought 30 Proverbs, the 31st. Okay, but we're gonna skip past that and get to this part. And it says, women were greatly valued. Yeah, because women do have a role. They are important in our society. All right. But at the end of the day, everything is of the man. All right. The scriptures were written by men. Okay. The tabernacle of Yahweh is with men, and women are trying to what? Usurp authority in the society. See, a woman will be praised for her faithfulness and what she's doing as a servant unto her Lord. Okay. That's when you have great value. All right. Because you got a lot of women, oh, you know, they got to be a certain caliber. What caliber? What fucking caliber? You women have no caliber. No, I haven't seen a woman with caliber at all. All you women are used up, ran through. All right, you're nothing but straight, thotties. Okay, and even the ones that have some decency in there, they have no caliber neither. Because when the time comes when they ask to get a certain way, okay, they just gonna go totally left. Okay, what was that one? That one saying. It was a viral video that went on. It was some African guy talking about in the brain of a woman on the right side, there's nothing left, and then on the left side there's nothing right, and it's the truth, because they're deprived from wisdom and all that. All right, but continuing on, it says, Salakia, women were greatly valued, but their work was obviously never done. Although the Hebrew Bible, a male-edited work, reveals a society dominated by men, it also includes stories of women who played heroic roles in the early history of Israel. Deborah, for example, played a prominent role in the defeat of the Canaanites at Mount Tabor. After the same battle, Jael killed Sisera, the leader of the Canaanites. According to the song of Deborah, most blessed of women be Jael, most blessed of tent-dwelling women. Her hand reached for the tent peg, her right hand for the workman's hammer. She struck Sisera, she crushed his head, she shattered and pierced his temple. At her feet he sank, he fell, there he lay. But these accounts are not the norm. In the Hebrew Bible, women are mostly dependent on men. That's right. You don't see women in the dependency of men today. Women are what? Independent. They're all about themselves. This is why these women are witches. All right. Every single one of these women are witches. All right. Even these women in the truth are witches. All right, because what is a true witch? All right, a woman that's in touch with her, that's in total control of herself. All right, that's what witch really stands for. And then you have witches that just is on some witchcraft shit. All right, regardless though, they're straight witches. All right, it says women are mostly dependent on men. It should not surprise us then to learn that a married woman was subject to her husband's authority. Okay, and what do women today do? They usurp authority over the man. It says, unlikely the Mesopotamians, the Hebrews did not develop the custom of dowry from the bride's parents. It says they did, however, have a practice whereby the bridegroom's family paid a sum of money to the bride's family, not as a purchase price as such, but apparently as compensation to the family for the loss of their daughter. A married woman left her parents' home, lived with her husband's family, and became a member of their clan. Her children also belonged to the husband's clan. It says, since boys and girls were married at a relatively young age, because we always have this debate with people that don't understand the scriptures, that we were getting married at a young age, man. 12, 13, that was the age that our people were getting married at. Okay, and marriage is what? Marriage is sex. Okay, you had women at that age that were having relationships with men. That it was the normal. Okay, but see, they'll come out here and they'll try to flip the script and try to demonize us and make us look bad because they don't want to hear the truth. Okay, but it's showing you here that our people were literally at a young age already into marriage, man. And it's very true. Right? And we're going back to the old paths. All right. When Yahushua comes to restore this place, man, and bring in true righteousness, we're going back to all those ways, whether you like it or not. That's going to be the beauty of it. See, brothers can't wait till this place is in righteousness, man, so we can finally see what our people really are supposed to be looking like, how they're supposed to be acting and conducting themselves, man. We some straight fucking wild ass animals out here. Wild ass animals. That's why we don't deserve shit. All right. It says unlikely, Salaki, it says a married woman left her parents' home, lived with her husband's family, and became a member of their clan. Her children also belonged to the husband's clan. Since boys and girls were married at a relatively young age, parents took the responsibility for matchmaking. Although marriages occurred between persons of different families and even the foreign women. All right. Yeah, you Israelite women, man, y'all don't understand that we don't need y'all. We don't need y'all to carry on the legacy of Israel, man. We could take any of these heathen ass women, okay, and create a legacy with them. Because you women that are the chosen, all right, that royal priesthood, y'all just out of the way. Y'all are completely out of this world. You see it every single day on the social media, man. It's sickening. All right. It says it was customary to find marriage partners within one's own clan, which that is very true because it tells you that in the book of Tobit. I believe it was. Was it in the book of Tobit? Yeah. Where it tells you that you had to choose those of your bloodline, basically. Okay. But that's why those are supposed to be your true wives. All right. And then the rest, these foreign women those are just your concubines, man. You hit it and you run and you make a little legacy and keep it moving. All right. Because they're not true Israelite women. All right. So it says, Salakia, let me, wives were expected to remain faithful to their husbands, an ideal that would later have an impact on Christians' attitudes toward women. Okay. The primary goal of marriage was to produce children. They were the crown of men, and sons in particular were desired. You see? To what? To continue that lineage. Daughters would eventually leave the family house, but sons carried on the family line. Mothers were in charge of the early education of children, especially in regard to basic moral principles. All right. And what's that? Going into Titus 2 and 5. All right. What the aged woman's supposed to be, a keeper at the house. She's supposed to be teaching the young women to be submissive unto their husbands. Okay. They themselves are supposed to be submissive unto their husbands. They're supposed to be walking in discreetness, not how they walking around today. Okay, showing everything, showing their face, showing their skin, their ass, whatever. Okay, they're supposed to be dressed a certain way. All right, it says, as boys matured, their fathers took over responsibility for their education. Yeah, because now it's time to make them a man, which remained largely informal. It says this included religious instruction as well as general education for life. You see, showing you that we ain't need no schools and none of that bullshit. All right, we didn't need to like they have today. They try to, they want you to be the way they want you to be in the society. It's a natural thing for us to grow without taking our kids to school and all this extra shit. Our kids are gonna learn life regardless. This is natural, it's nature. All right. Back in the times, in the ancient times, them indigenous peoples ain't have no schools and nothing like that, but they learned every day the most important aspects of life, surviving, eating, that's what really counts. And then they used to, they were in tune with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah at one point, but then eventually our people went off as always. All right. And then it says, mothers were in charge of the early education of children, especially in regards to basic moral principles. As boys matured, their fathers took over responsibility for their education, which remained largely informal. This included religious instruction as well as general education for life. The rod was not spared as a matter of principle. Yeah, which that's one of the things that this society is missing today. All right. Now you whip your kid's ass, diapers at your door. The reason these kids have no structure is because there is no ass whoopings being given out to these children. Okay. We all took ass whoopings when we were younger, and when we got them, we didn't do all that wicked shit after that. You learned from it because your ass ain't want to get smacked again. But see, when you don't, when these children are being disrespectful and they're going way off, and you don't hit them, that just gives them the okay to continually to keep doing it. Oh, okay, I ain't getting in trouble for it. Shit, now let me continue to do it. Oh, they touch me. Well, you touch me, I'm gonna call the police. That's bugged out. You see? So continuing on, it says, since traders were usually hereditary, fathers also provided their sons occupational education. As one rabbi, a Jewish teacher, warned, see, this is where they start going off and all that extra. He who does not teach his son a useful trade is bringing him up to be bringing him up to be a thief. Additional education for boys came from priests whose sacred missions was to instruct people in the Torah. An organized school system. See, that's the true school system we have. Yeah, because the scriptures talk about how your law, statutes, and commandments are your school your tutor, your schoolmaster. See, we didn't need none of these schools and all this education we had an education. All right, we had our own ways of walking in, but we fell from that. All right, we turned away from our first love. We backstabbed our father, man, Yahweh. So he separated himself from us. It says an organized school system was not established until much later, possibly in the 2nd century BC. The only education girls received was from their mothers, who taught them the basic fundamentals of how to be good, wise mothers and housekeepers. You don't see none of that. You don't see wives today. You don't see mothers today. Okay, you don't see housekeepers. You might get one here and there. All right, you have few sincere sisters, very, 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 very few, slim as hell. Okay, you got ones that put a front. They'll in front of people. I'm a mother, I'm a father, whatever, and then behind closed doors, they just straight piece of shit. Giving they husbands or they baby dads and their baby moms straight problems. Okay. But let me go from there real quick. Let me go. Look, this is how you know the civilization of the Greeks. Let me show you how when we got into the Hellenistic period. Yep, right here. Hellenistic society. I ain't gonna read all of it. All right, I'll read a couple parts, but show you how it changed our customs that we were taught all our lives, the old past, that once we mingled in with these other nations and continually kept mingling with them, we kept taking on more of their customs. And this is what ended up happening to our women after a while. Going into the Hellenistic period, all right, from there on, everything was just to basically worship a woman, to put a woman on a pedestal. All right, which it tells you right here. It says Hellenistic society, one of the noticeable features of social life in the Hellenistic world was the emergence of new opportunities for women, at least for upper class women. All right. No doubt this was related to the changes in Hellenistic society itself, since the subordination of the cities to the kings altered the way men related to their polis or polis. and to each other. Some historians maintain that the visible role of Hellenistic queens may also have contributed to a new model for upper class women. Okay. Let me see. Should I read in here? Yeah, I'll read up to all this and then go to the other side real quick. So it says the creation of the Hellenistic monarchies, which represented a considerable departure from the world of the city state, gave new scope to the role played by the monarch's wives, the Hellenistic queens. In Macedonia, a pattern of alliances between mothers and sons provided openings for women to take an active role in politics. Same shit you see today. All right, especially in political intrigue. It says in Egypt, opportunities for royal women were even greater after the Ptolemaic rulers adopted the Egyptian custom of kings marrying their own sisters, which they was on some straight wicked. All right. Of the first 8 Ptolemaic rulers, 4 wed their sisters. Ptolemy the second and Ptolemy and Ptolemy the second and his sister's wife Arsinoe, yeah, the second, were both worshipped as gods in their lifetimes. Arsinoe played an energetic role in government and was involved in the expansion of the Egyptian navy. She was also the first Egyptian queen whose portrait appeared on coins with her husband. Hellenistic queens also showed an intense interest in culture. They wrote poems, collected art, and corresponded with intellectuals. Yeah, because they also took that way of the Egyptians, because the Egyptians were like that. All right. When you had Nimrod establishing his shit, okay, you had them bugged out, with Queen of Heaven spirit, making sacrifices onto Ishtar and all that. All right, they had that same mentality of putting women on a pedestal. That's why our people today, the Judites be thinking that they're Africans, and one of the main things they're always talking about is the woman, of how woman is the top, priority, basically. That women is this goddess type, bugged out of their minds. Okay. It says the most notable gains for upper class women came in the economic area. Documents showing increasing numbers of women involved in managing slaves, selling property, and making loans. Okay, and you see women managing slaves today. When you at work and your boss is a woman that owns the whole company, well, she managing you slaves in it. Okay, it says selling property and making loans. Even then, legal contracts. And as you hear this, you should just be saying to yourself, same shit that they're doing today. This is how you know that is that ancient revival, the revival of that ancient Roman Empire, okay? That Greco-Roman Empire. It says, Salaki, where am I? Okay. Women in Athens. No, I'm up a little bit. Even then, legal contracts in which women were involved had to include their official male guardians. Although in numerous instances these men no longer played an important role but were listed only to satisfy legal requirements. In Sparta, women were allowed to own land and manage their own economic affairs. As many of their husbands were absent or died in war, many Spartan women became wealthy. Females owned 40% of the privately held land in Sparta. Sparta women, however, were an exception, especially on the Greek mainland. Women in Athens, for example, still remained highly restricted and supervised. Although, see, even them, they moved in a certain way. They knew exactly how they were supposed to move. Man was the top, all right? Even like if you seen that movie 300, which that movie 300 is really about the Israelites, all right. But when you see that movie 300, the queen, she was still subjected onto her husband. She was still uh uh she was still under the authority of her husband. Okay, you don't see that shit no more. All right, it says women in Athens, for example, still remain highly restricted and supervised, although a few philosophers welcomed female participation in men's affairs. Many philosophers rejected equality between men and women and asserted that the traditional roles of wives and mothers were more satisfying for women. And her treatise on chastity, uh, Fintes wrote that the serving as generals, public officials, and statesmen is appropriate for men, but keeping house, remaining within, taking care of husbands belong to women. But the opinions of philosophers did not prevent upper class women from making gains in areas other than the economic sphere. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it was all going to be prophecy that these women will be above these men at one point. All right, and throughout generations and generations, you know, finally now is where it has hit the hardest. You know, when you read the Willie Lynch letters and all that, that was all done back in those days, not necessarily for those days, but more for the future that was coming. That's when these things were going to hit the hardest. Their ways and their agendas, and they're hitting the hardest right now. That's why this place has to be brought down. All right. It says, but the opinions of philosophers did not prevent upper class women from making gains in areas other than the economic sphere. New possibilities for females arose when women in some areas of the Hellenistic world were allowed to pursue education in the fields of literature, music, and even athletics. Education then provided new opportunities for women. Female poets appeared again in the 3rd century, and there are instances of women involved in both scholarly and artistic pursuits. Slovakia. Some wealthy aristocratic women even became politically active in the running of their cities. In the 2nd century BC, a number of cities passed decrees honoring women for their service to community. I think that's Kyme in Asia Minor, for example, paid homage to Archippe for her enormous financial contributions. In return, some women were given political rights and in a few instances were allowed to hold office as city magistrates. But often economic motives were attached in this generosity. When Phil of Priene was made a magistrate of her city, it was probably with the understanding that Salaka, that she would donate funds for public works. Once in office, she did build an adequate and reservoir for the community. Improvements and positions of females were largely restricted to upper class women. A harsher reality existed for a large group of women condemned to the practice of prostitution. Inscriptional evidence indicates that small families were common in the Hellenistic world. Boys were preferred, and rarely was more than one daughter raised. Unwanted girl babies were often exposed to the elements and left to die. Damn. Some of these infants were gathered up by eager entrepreneurs and raised to be slave prostitutes. Only the most beautiful and luckiest prostitutes came to be companions of upperclassmen. They said the luckiest prostitutes, like it was this thing to be a prostitute, boy. All right. And what do you see today? The same exact thing. These women acting like straight prostitutes. All right. Just because you're not standing in the actual corner, all right, and giving up the 90 in the corner doesn't mean you're not a prostitute. Now they do it legally. Now they do it through social media. Now they do it through OnlyFans. Okay. Where they don't have to be touched. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much the point. Like I said, it wasn't so much, it was more of a lesson on just this book, you know, history, showing you that these devils know who we are, what our ways was. This is why they were able to change the ordinances and change everything. All right, because they had all this information in their hands, man. This is why this devil's able to control the world, because we don't know who we are. All right. And like we, you know, me and the one brother always talk about how everything they have is out of the libraries of royalty, man. While we get that watered down history, National Archives. All right. And they're able to control us because they know who we are. They know the truth. And they control us through what? Through, you know, through philosophy, through religions, everything that's made to push you farther away from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. So I figured I showed that to show how the true structure of family was with our people, man. That's what we're missing today. Okay. If we would go back to those ways, man, we'd be in such we'd be such a great nation among these a great nation among these people, man. But we acting like straight fools. We acting like straight heathens. All right. You act like a heathen, you're gonna get them heathen results. It's that simple. All right. So hey, Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. Like I said, it was more just on to show these people know exactly who we are, and they showing you this in the book called Western Civilization, okay, 6th edition, volume 2 to 1715 from Ocean County College. All right, so hey, Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Kudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad. The Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom.